Imagine showing up to a job as a part-time university student. Then 41 years later, you leave having helped create some of the most beloved video games in history. That is the story of Takashi Tezuka. Nintendo has confirmed that Tezuka is set to retire on June 26th of this year at the age of 65. And the gaming world is taking a moment to appreciate just how massive his impact really is. We are talking about the original Super Mario Bros. We are talking about the first Legend of Zelda. We are talking about the creation of Yoshi. This one person had a hand in all of that. In this video, we are going to walk through Tezuka's incredible career, look at the legendary games he helped bring to life, talk about what his retirement means for Nintendo going forward, and zoom out to look at a bigger trend happening inside the company right now. So stick around, because this is one gaming story you do not want to miss. Let's go back to 1984. Takashi Tezuka is 23 years old, still in university, and he lands a part-time job at Nintendo. His first project is Punch-Out!, the classic boxing arcade game. Not a bad way to start a career, right? But here is where it gets interesting. Within just 1 year, Tezuka had already risen to assistant director and designer on the original Super Mario Bros. Think about that for a second. He goes from part-time student worker to helping shape one of the most important video games ever made in under 12 months. That is an absolutely remarkable rise. And he was not just along for the ride. He was right there working closely with Mario creator Shigeru Miyamoto, the two of them forming one of the most productive creative partnerships in gaming history. Then in 1986, just a year after Super Mario Bros. Launched, Tezuka directed the very first Legend of Zelda game. He was the director, the person calling the creative shots on a franchise that is still going strong nearly 4 decades later. The pace did not slow down either. He then helmed Super Mario Bros. 3, widely considered one of the greatest games ever made on the Nintendo Entertainment System. And then came Super Mario World for the Super Nintendo. That game is legendary for many reasons, but one of the biggest is that it introduced the world to Yoshi, and Tezuka helped create that character. Yoshi has since appeared in dozens of games, cartoons, and more merchandise than you could ever count. All of that traces back to Tezuka sitting down and helping design a little green dinosaur for a Super Nintendo launch title. It is genuinely hard to overstate how important those early years were. After those iconic early titles, you might think the story starts to slow down. But Tezuka just kept going. His career in the decades that followed reads like a greatest hits list of Nintendo gaming. Super Mario 64, one of the most important games in history and the title that defined three-dimensional platforming as we know it. He was there. The Pikmin franchise, a quirky and beloved series that has built a devoted fan base over multiple console generations. He was there. Animal Crossing, one of Nintendo's most successful and wholesome franchises that exploded during the global lockdowns of 2020. He was there too, but here is where it gets interesting. As Nintendo's games grew bigger and more complex, Tezuka moved into producer and production supervisor roles. And he did not lose his touch one bit. He served as a producer or supervisor on Super Mario Maker, the game that let fans build and share their own Mario levels. He was involved with Super Mario 3D World, a fan favorite that later made the jump to Nintendo Switch. And then there is The Legend of Zelda, Breath of the Wild, one of the highest-rated games of all time, a game that completely reinvented open-world design and breathed new life into the entire Zelda franchise. Tezuka was a production supervisor on that masterpiece. From the very first Zelda game in 1986 to Breath of the Wild in 2017, his fingerprints are all over the series' most important moments. That is the kind of career that defines an entire medium. Tezuka's retirement is deeply personal to gaming fans everywhere, but it is also part of a bigger story happening right now at Nintendo. Several other long-serving developers have recently left the company too. Heike Kano, who was a veteran of the Mario Kart franchise, has also departed. Kensuke Tanabe, the producer who championed the Metroid Prime series and oversaw the development of Metroid Prime 4, Beyond, also left the company following that game's launch. These are people who have been at Nintendo since the very early days of the company's game development era. And one by one, that original generation is stepping away. There is one very notable exception to all of this. Shigeru Miyamoto, now 73 years old, is still at Nintendo. He is something of a living legend who has outlasted the typical retirement age at the company. But even Miyamoto has significantly scaled back his hands on involvement in game development. These days, his creative energy is focused on Nintendo's expansion into movies and theme parks. So the people who are actually making the games day to day are largely a newer generation of developers. Nintendo as a company is clearly in a period of transition. The creative giants who built the foundation are passing the torch. And the question for fans is a natural one. Can Nintendo maintain that same magic going forward? Based on what we have seen with titles like The Legend of Zelda, Tears of the Kingdom, and the excitement surrounding Nintendo Switch 2, the answer seems to be yes. But it is still worth pausing to appreciate the people who built the foundation that Nintendo stands on today. Tezuka is absolutely one of those people. Takashi Tezuka joined Nintendo as a part-time university student in 1984. He helped create Super Mario Bros., directed the original Legend of Zelda, gave us Yoshi, and produced some of the most acclaimed games of the modern era. After 41 incredible years, he is retiring on June 26th, and the gaming world owes him a massive thank you. If you enjoyed this video, hit that subscribe button so you never miss our latest gaming news. Drop a comment below and tell us what your favorite Tezuka game is. For me, it is nearly impossible to pick just one. We will see you in the next one.